There's a truth: modern society, as buried under layers of rampant consumerism and instant gratification, you're literally wasting your life force, drop by drop, impulse by impulse. Every time you surrender to immediate pleasure, you're sacrificing something far more valuable than you realize. I'm not just talking about wasted time or dissipated physical energy. I'm talking about the very essence of your achievement, the fuel that powers great accomplishments, the raw material of your personal transformation. The question that should haunt you isn't why control, but rather, what are you becoming when you don't control? Because while you believe you're merely satisfying a natural biological urge, you're actually programming your mind for mediocrity, conditioning your nervous system to seek the easiest path, training your body to accept defeat before the battle even begins. Napoleon Hill, the great pioneer of human potential, discovered something the ancient masters knew millennia ago. Sexual energy isn't just about reproduction or pleasure. It's the most primal and powerful force within you. The same energy that builds empires, creates masterpieces, generates fortunes, and transforms ordinary men into legends. But here's the cruel paradox of our time. We've never had so much information about success and achievement, and we've never been so disconnected from the real source of our power. You've been conditioned from a young age to view this energy as something that needs to be released, like pressure demanding relief. The adult entertainment industry, the culture of instant gratification, even some poorly informed medical circles have convinced you that retaining this force is unnatural, even harmful. But what if I told you the exact opposite is true? What if the conscious retention of this vital energy is the secret that separates extraordinary men from the mediocre? When you ejaculate, you're not just releasing bodily fluids. You're dispensing the concentrated essence of your vitality, the very substance that could be fueling your creativity, your determination, your personal magnetism. Semen contains precious elements: zinc, selenium, complex proteins, hormones, neurotransmitters. But beyond the physical components, it carries something modern science still struggles to fully comprehend. A life force the ancients called essence, chi, prana, kundalini energy. Think of it as an energy investment. Every time you choose immediate gratification, you're withdrawing from a cosmic bank account that could be generating compound interest in the form of mental clarity, physical strength, magnetic charisma, and the power of achievement. You're trading the extraordinary for the ordinary, the permanent for the temporary, the transcendent for the trivial. Sexual transmutation isn't repression. Repression is pushing desire under the rug, pretending it doesn't exist, creating an internal war between your natural needs and your moral ideals. Transmutation is alchemy. It's the sacred art of taking the raw fire of desire and refining it into pure gold of achievement. It's recognizing that the same force that drives you toward carnal pleasure can be redirected to fuel your highest ambitions. Imagine your sexual energy as a powerful river. Most men build a flimsy dam that inevitably breaks, causing destructive floods of compulsion and guilt. Others try to dry up the river completely, creating a barren desert in their lives. But the wise man learns to channel these waters to irrigate the gardens of his dreams, to turn the turbines of his accomplishments, to fuel the growth of everything that truly matters. When you practice conscious retention, you're not just saving bodily fluids, you're reprogramming your entire nervous system. You're teaching your body that you are the master, not the slave of your impulses. You're training your mind to seek satisfaction in lasting achievements, not fleeting pleasures. You're developing what ancient warriors called inner strength, the ability to maintain your center even when internal storms rage around you. This process of reprogramming happens on multiple levels. Physically, your body begins to reabsorb and redistribute the elements that would normally be lost. The zinc that strengthens your immune system remains in your body. The proteins that build muscle and tissue are redirected for repair and growth. The hormones that regulate your energy, mood, and willpower reach higher, more stable levels. Mentally, you develop what philosophers call self-mastery, the supreme ability to govern your own internal states. Every time you resist immediate impulse, you're strengthening your ability to resist other temptations, the food that sabotages your health, the spending that destroys your finances, the distractions that fragment your focus, the toxic relationships that drain your energy. Spiritually, you're reconnecting with a dimension of power that transcends the physical. Ancient cultures around the world recognize the retention of vital essence as a sacred practice. Chinese Taoists spoke of conserving Jing as the foundation of longevity and wisdom. Hindu yogis developed elaborate practices of brahmacharya to channel sexual energy toward spiritual enlightenment. Medieval alchemists encoded in hermetic symbols the transformation of the lead of desire into the gold of achievement. But you don't need to become a monk or completely renounce pleasure to access this power. Sexual transmutation is about consciousness, not total abstinence. It's about deliberate choice rather than automatic reaction. It's about using desire as fuel for your ambitions instead of being consumed by it. When you retain your vital essence for conscious periods, something remarkable happens to your presence. You develop what the ancients called personal magnetism, an intangible but undeniable quality that makes people gravitate toward you. Your energy becomes more focused, your confidence more genuine, your determination more unshakable. You stop seeking external validation because you're connected to an inner source of power and purpose. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that demands patience, self-discipline, and above all, a deep understanding of what you're actually doing. You're rewiring neural pathways that have been established over years, even decades. You're challenging deeply ingrained cultural conditioning about masculinity, pleasure, and power. You're navigating psychological territory few men dare to explore. The first few days can be the most challenging. Your body, accustomed to regular release, might feel restless, anxious, even irritable. Your mind may bombard you with elaborate justifications for why you should give up. Compulsive thoughts may arise with surprising intensity. This isn't a character flaw. It's your nervous system testing your resolve, like a child testing the boundaries set by a firm but loving parent. As you persist, something fascinating begins to emerge. The energy previously wasted on fleeting gratifications starts to build up like pressure in a steam cooker. But instead of exploding destructively, this pressure can be channeled to fuel your projects, your passions, your highest ambitions. You find you have more energy for workouts, more focus for work, more presence for your important relationships. If you're following this journey and recognizing the depth of this transformation, if you're feeling like you finally found someone who understands the true nature of masculine power, then I need you to do something important right now. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. I'm not asking for vanity or numbers. I'm asking because what I share here isn't common information. These are truths that can literally rewrite the code of your existence, but only if you have consistent access to them. This knowledge needs to be absorbed, applied, and integrated over time. A single exposure isn't enough to undo decades of contrary conditioning. By subscribing, you're declaring to the universe that you're committed to your own transformation, that you're willing to receive and apply wisdom that can elevate you from mediocrity to excellence. Do it now, because men who hesitate in the face of growth opportunities are the same ones who remain stagnant for years. As you progress in this practice, you'll begin to notice changes that go far beyond the physical. Your ability to concentrate deepens. Projects that once seemed impossible begin to seem not only feasible, but inevitable. You develop a natural patience that isn't passivity, but concentrated power awaiting the right moment to manifest. Your frustration tolerance increases dramatically. Minor annoyances that once derailed your day become mere background noise that you don't even register. There's something profoundly archetypal happening here. You're awakening what Jung would call the inner king, the part of your psyche that governs, that directs, that makes decisions based on long-term vision instead of momentary impulses. This inner king doesn't rule through tyranny or repression, but through integrated wisdom. He understands that true power comes from self-mastery, not mastery over others. As this energy accumulates and is transmuted, you may experience what ancient mystics called expanded states of consciousness. Not talking about fanciful supernatural experiences, but a mental clarity so intense that solutions to complex problems simply emerge in your mind. A creativity so abundant that innovatives flow through you like water through a natural spring. An intuition so sharp that you begin to know things about situations and people without being able to logically explain how you know. This isn't magic, it's optimized biology, it's neurology functioning at its peak potential. It's your endocrine system producing hormones in ideal proportions. It's your brain chemistry, creating states that favor focus, creativity, and well-being. Modern science is only beginning to understand what ancient practices already knew. The conservation of vital essence produces measurable changes in brain function, hormonal production, immune system strength, and even gene expression. But here's a crucial aspect that many overlook. This practice also awakens your psychological shadow. Jung taught that the shadow contains not only our repressed negative aspects, but also our repressed positive potential. When you stop wasting vital energy, you'll begin to confront aspects of yourself that you kept dormant through compulsive gratification. Fears you avoided facing, ambitions you considered unrealistic, aspects of your personality you deemed unacceptable. All of this may emerge with surprising intensity. This is the point where many men give up. They interpret this emergence of repressed psychological content as a sign that something is wrong, that the practice is causing problems. In reality, it's the exact opposite. Your psyche is finally strong enough to process material you previously kept buried under layers of distraction and escape. You're finally facing inner dragons that guard treasures you didn't even know you possessed. The key here is not to judge or repress this emerging content, but to observe it with compassionate curiosity. Each fear that arises is an invitation to develop courage. Each anger that emerges is raw energy that can be refined into focused determination. Each sadness that manifests is an opportunity to process all losses and make a space for new possibilities. You're literally integrating fragmented aspects of your psyche into a more cohesive and powerful self. During this process, your relationships will also undergo profound transformations. You may find that you no longer tolerate toxic dynamics that you previously accepted passively. People who drain your energy may naturally drift out of your orbit, while individuals who share your new frequency begin to appear in your life. Your patterns of attraction may change dramatically. Instead of being drawn to drama and instability, you may find yourself gravitating toward relationships that nurture and support your growth. Many men report significant financial improvements when they consciously practice sexual transmutation. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't a coincidence. The same discipline that governs their sexual impulses generalizes to other areas of life. They stop making impulsive purchases. Stop accepting opportunities that drain their energy without offering real value. Stop wasting time and resources on distractions. Their ability to focus on long-term goals improves dramatically, and sustained focus is the primary ingredient of financial success. Professionally, you might find that your presence in meetings has more impact, your ideas are taken more seriously, and your ability to lead and inspire others naturally amplifies. This happens because you're no longer leaking energy through 1,000 tiny holes of instant gratification. All your vital force is consciously concentrated and directed toward your most important goals. Physical, the benefits can be remarkable. Many men report increased overall energy, improved sleep quality, reduced need for artificial stimulants like caffeine, increased motivation to exercise and maintain a healthy diet. Their appearance can literally change. Better posture, a more intense gaze, a more magnetic presence. It's not vanity, it's vitality radiating through their physical form. But perhaps the most profound transformation happens in your relation with time. When you're not constantly chasing the next hit of instant gratification, you discover you have far more time available than you imagined. Hours previously consumed aimlessly browsing the internet, consuming content that only numbs your consciousness, are now available for activities that truly matter, learning valuable skills, building meaningful relationships, working on projects that can transform your life. As you progress on this journey, you may start noticing synchronicities, seemingly impossible coincidences that appear to conspire in your favor. Opportunities that perfectly align with your goals. The right people showing up at the right time. Necessary resources becoming available exactly when you need them. Jung called this synchronicity, a principle of non-causal connection governing meaningful events. When you align your energy with your higher purposes, the entire universe seems to conspire to support you. But here's an important caveat: this practice isn't about perfection, it's about progress. There will be moments of relapse, periods of doubt, doubts when your determination wavers. This is completely natural and shouldn't be interpreted as failure. Each lapse is simply information, data about which triggers still need to be addressed, which aspects of your discipline still need to be strengthened, which parts of your psyche are still resisting transformation. The secret is to treat each setback as an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, instead of sinking into guilt and self-recrimination, patterns that only perpetuate the destructive cycle. Observe with scientific curiosity what led to the relapse. What emotions were you trying to avoid? What external pressures lowered your resistance? What illegitimate needs were you neglecting? This information is pure gold for refining your approach. As you develop more experience with sexual transmutation, you can begin exploring more advanced practices, breathing techniques that circulate sexual energy through your nervous system, visualization practices that direct that force to specific areas of your life that need revitalizing, meditation methods that transform sexual desire into spiritual ecstasy, physical exercises that strengthen the muscles responsible for ejaculatory control. But remember, techniques are just tools. The true power comes from the transformation of consciousness that occurs when you take full responsibility for your vital energy. When you stop being a victim of your impulses and become the conscious architect of your own experience. When you understand that every choice you make is literally sculpting the person you become. This journey isn't for everyone. It requires courage to confront aspects of yourself you'd rather keep hidden. It demands discipline to maintain practices even when your rational mind conjures up 1,000 excuses to quit. It requires humility to acknowledge that much of what you believe about pleasure, power, and purpose may be fundamentally cementy. But for those who persevere, the rewards are literally transformative. You will discover that within you exists a man you didn't even know existed. Someone with seemingly infinite reserves of energy, with crystal clear clarity about his goals, with a natural magnetism that attracts opportunities and people who elevate your life. This man has always been there, patiently waiting beneath the layers of social conditioning and self-destructive habits. Sexual transmutation is simply the process of removing those layers to reveal your true nature. As you become this man, your perspective on success will fundamentally shift. You will stop measuring your worth through external comparisons and begin evaluating your progress through internal standards of excellence. Achievements that once seemed impossible will begin to manifest naturally, not through desperate striving, but through aligned and focused action. Or you will develop what the ancient masters call Wu Wei, effortless action power that flows naturally from inner alignment. And here's the final and deepest truth. When you master your sexual energy, you're not just transforming your own life. You're becoming a beacon of possibility for other men who are still trapped in the destructive patterns you've transcended. Your elevated presence inspires others to question their own limitations. Your example demonstrates that real transformation is possible. You become an agent of human evolution, helping our species evolve beyond primitive patterns of instant gratification toward higher forms of fulfillment and purpose. The man who truly understands and practices sexual transmutation isn't one who denies his nature, he's one who transcends and transforms it. He doesn't fight the fire of his desire, but learns to forge with it the tools of his greatness. He doesn't suppress his vital force, but consciously directs it to create the life, relationships, and impact he truly desires. This is your choice, right here, right now. Continue being an unwitting slave to impulses that keep you small, or claim the throne of your own inner kingdom, and begin building the extraordinary life you've always known was possible. The energy is there, waiting. The power is available. The only question that remains is, do you have the guts to claim it?